Karen the Warp Spinster here. Welcome to my channel, and thank you for spending some time with me today and spending time with Alice, whom you can see is also here. And this is sort of where we left it last week. I still have to attach these two pieces together, and these will eventually go together. I'm not sure I'm ready to do that just yet. What I want to do today, I am almost fresh out of pieces to add. So I need to make some today. I have to still be thinking about this circle and what I want to do, or if I want to start with just a plain black circle, or maybe an oval that, is the rabbit hole that she goes down. Oh, look, here are a couple more pieces. So what I want to do today is try to figure out what other pieces I want to do. So I went and searched through my pinks and reds. I don't work in red all that often, apparently, nor in pink until this. So I don't have a huge abundance of them. And then I have a whole tote full of black and whites, which I will be using, and of course the black and white stripes. So I need to, this is at the bottom of the piece, and I need to sort of fill out to the sides, because it's as if she's coming down kind of a funnel and then going out. And I was just thinking this morning, while I was showering and thinking about this, how deep does this rabbit hole go? How far down is Wonderland? And I thought, at the bottom, I think the base, I'm just going to do like a plain red, maybe even a red-orange color, like it is the magma around the core. I think that would just be a hoot. It's not going to be very big, but I think that would be kind of fun. So I need to make plans for the outer edges, flanges of the funnel down the rabbit hole. So it needs to be pretty chaotic because it's down in Wonderland. It's not on the way down. So I think I have a couple of plans for what I want to do. We'll put these aside, and Alice may advise us as we go. Thank you all for your kind comments about Alice. She appreciates them, as do I. So I think what I want to do is, first of all, start out with just a wonky log cabin, which will be probably just pinks and reds and whites, alternating with black and whites. Let me open up my black and whites here. I also have my tote full of black and whites that I've been collecting over the years, and some more recently, so I have lots of those to choose from. And I think for the center, what do I want for the center? You know what? I keep finding little pieces I have left. I have these little sort of half-square triangle-ish shapes. So I think maybe I'll start with one of those, and maybe an odd-shaped one like this. It's a rectangle, not a square. So I'll start with that. That was easy. And then I'll just be cutting some strips. I will first look at my strip stash to see if I have some already cut. And then I'll just do a wonky log cabin, which we've done before, and I will hopefully remember to put a link to that video or videos. I think we've done it a couple of times. And I'm just going to start with doing that, and then I will come back and we'll see where we go from there. Here is a wonky log cabin. It's not as wonky as it could be, not as wonky as I've done them before, but wonky nonetheless. And here is my plan. I'm going to cut it because, me, going to slice it. And I think I'm going to do it this way. I don't care if it's centered or not. I don't care if it's straight or not. I mean, straight relative to what? With the wonky log cabin. So I'm just going to slice it. Yes, after all that work. Not that bad. And I'm just going to slice it into two. Now, my plan is to offset it and then do some white here as background. Or I could extend this and put another red or pink up there and another black and white down here. Or I could do something like that instead, or that. I don't know which one I like. Which one do you like? I kind of like just the offset. And then you've got this sort of continuity going on even though it's jagged. And I think I do want white in those two spaces. The other question I have about this is, do I want a stripe in the middle? I think I do. You know me, I'm sure I do. And not a very big one. I think this one is fine. Could be a solid black. No, I think I want a stripe. Got the whole stripe thing going on, so I will. First of all, I need to stitch some white on these two ends, and then I can see how I want to shift it with relation to that. Actually, what I'll probably do is stitch the white pieces here and then stitch this to one side, and then we'll play with sliding it up and down. It's a fault line, I guess. I have given myself plenty of wiggle room here, just because I don't know how far I want to offset it. That, I think, is too much. And I don't want it to, I don't think, be so that it's a stair step thing for these, because it won't be all the way down. They're different widths. So I don't know, I think that maybe looks about right. So that's what it shall be. Those right side together, sew that up, and then I will trim it. And that piece will be finished. I'm pretty happy with that. I think there will probably be some foofara nonsensing going on with embroidery stitches, or maybe some couching with threads. Throw a circle on there, who knows? Do I have a circle that I could use? I don't have much in the way of appropriate colors, although I do have, wait a minute, here's a little one. This could get parked somewhere too. Oh, I'm a sucker for circles. What can I say? Would I want it to overlap? I have a couple different sizes of circles. Honestly, I can tell better if I'm looking through the camera than. That's kind of nice that it mirrors that. This, I think, is too much. Might be fine if it was smaller, granted, but kind of like that. And then some other foofara nonsense with stitches and whatnot, I think would be a lot of fun. And the trimmings I have left to use somewhere else, maybe even in this quilt. So that I would probably use maybe a pink thread to go around it, and then I'll be adding some embroidery and whatnot on that. Do I want to do that right now? Sure, why not? And then there's another thing that I want to try out, which we will get to after this. I am filming this on International Quilting Day, so happy quilting day. I think every day is a happy quilting day, a good day to quilt. Just an aside as I go off to do foofara and nonsense. I won't yet call this the finished piece because I don't know that it's finished yet, but at least I have added on some stitching and just did a zigzag with pink thread around this circle. So it's getting there. It would be fine to use it as is here, but I think I probably will have some other stuff going on, maybe a couching some red or black or something. So that is going to go in toward the bottom of the funnel, upside down funnel, I guess is what I'm saying. And I may well do another one or two of these. I like how it turned out, so they may be spread sort of across the bottom. There's another thing I want to try, and that will also be using strips. And I still have some from getting ready for the log cabins. So I am going to sew together some strip sets from these. I pretty consistently cut these at about 2 inches if I was actually cutting it and didn't get it from a strip stash. Some of them I'm not sure that I really want a 2-inch wide strip very often, but I'll adjust that. They're going to be different widths, and then I'm just going to do a long-ish strip set. May end up doing more than one, so there's more variety, at least what I'm picturing in my head, which may or may not work. You know how that goes. So I'll just do some strip sets and come back. Pro tip: when you change thread on your machine, put a bobbin in before you start sewing. This is just plain old strip set, and I have two ideas for how I might do this. One is to just cut it up and treat it as a sort of crumb block, and these pieces, rather than just a solid piece of fabric, are what I would use as I'm spinning it around. So who knows what's going to happen here, but I am going to slice it like this and maybe do another slice so I have 5 sides, which is what I typically do, but I don't want it to be parallel with that necessarily. I'm going to end up with little pieces of waste, and that's how it's going to be. So I can also then be adding in between planed pieces, and say I want to put one over here, and then I'll cut a piece that goes that way. And I'm looking for basically a longish straight piece. And I could certainly do it with additional strip sets. And I think every once in a while I do want to put in just a plain piece to maybe fill out some piece somewhere. So this is my plan. Will it work? How do you vote? What are the odds I can make this work? All right, I'm going to start doing that and see what happens. It could be a bust, or it could be a lot of fun. I don't know. The other option I could do would be to just treat this as if I was doing a long strip of something, and maybe cut this and turn it on its side. So that's another option as well. So what I may do is another shorter strip set to play more with this, because I do want to see how it looks if I turn this on its side. Just playing and trying things out. All right, so we've got this, and if I then, I'm going to, like this, And then if I turn this, I think I want another piece in between there though, so that it doesn't look like I'm doing a rail fence or something. So a piece or two in between. This one long enough? Not quite. Don't want to use another pink strip. It would be good to use a strip that I maybe haven't used in the strip set. Another piece here, and that one, they don't, of course, have to be straight. And then that would give me a sort of base, a bedrock geological something or other, to go at the bottom before I go into the magma around the core. So that's definitely a possibility. I'm going to come up short here though, aren't I? Well, I can put something else there. I could do, well, I could do anything. I might end up doing, say, a plain white and then continue out. So I'm going to play with both of those and then I'll show you how it turns out when I come back. Here is one of the pieces, and I had plenty of white here when I pieced this so that I could have a straight line, and I decided, well, why can't I have a curved line? I may change my mind and decide I want it straight, but now I have this option. And I did trim this straight, although a little crooked, non-parallel, I guess. So this one will then have foo-for-on nonsense. I'm sure there will be foo-for-on nonsense. Shenanigans will be had. All right, now for this, I made another short strip set because I just had this one piece left after I did that. And now I'm looking at how I want to put this together. And I'm thinking that I'll maybe go this way. So sew that on, then do this one at an angle, and then proceed from there. I could also do it this way, which will turn into something more like that. Or I could kind of do a long strip piece at an angle, and I think I will waste less on fabrics if I do it this way, which is kind of another one of those. Or do I want to do that? It's really more of a crumb kind of orientation going across, so that would be all right. I wonder how these would look like on top of each other. So I think I'm going to do that. Certainly this sort of thing would be an option where I just keep building out as I would for a crumb quilt. But I think in the interest of, because I don't have a lot of this fabric left, I think I'm probably going to do that. So I have that strip there, and then I could cut this off at an angle and do something else there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I will start doing that so you can kind of see where I'm going, where I think I'm going. You know the drill. And a crumb-esque, crumb-ish strip, which I can straighten out. I added some pieces on this corner so that I could add that piece on without losing a lot of fabric and pieces in the process. So I could cut these straight across. I could leave them as is, or I could create a curve. I think in this case, I'm going to create a curve, and it will be such that if I decide I want to straighten it out, it's no big deal. I could straighten it. And here I might also do a curve that goes something like this, and then even straight across from there, or maybe another, make it kind of an S curve. And I think that's what I'm going to do, and understand, of course, that there will probably be foo-for-ah nonsense. Let me grab my glove here, which I like to use when I have lots of seams and things will start going haywire and I want to have my fingers reasonably close. Still going to try to keep them out of the way because this glove is not impenetrable, but if I'm going slowly, I can tell if it's going to cut something. So there's a curve there. And then this one, I will try to preserve as much, I didn't do very well there, did I? Of the fabric as I can. So that's an interesting shape, and if I decide that I really want to cut it straight, then I certainly can do that in both cases. All right, so there are 2 more pieces to add on, which I may just have to do a little foo-for-ah nonsense, just because. Because there is foo-for-ah and nonsense and shenanigans to be had. Well, that could be kind of interesting there. There are always choices. Options, options, options. That red and white stripe really is wowza, isn't it? All right, which one do I want to do foo-for-ah nonsense on? I want to do, you know, I do have that big circle. Let me try it out here. Oh, I have a hot pink circle too, although I don't know that it's going to necessarily, no, never mind. Never mind. So this is probably still too big, but something like that somewhere could be kind of fun. I should just cut the circle. I keep saying it's too big, and I should just cut the darn thing. So, of course, that's always possible. I've done squares and triangles on other pieces. Grab one here. So I could do that, do bias strips across it, all of that fun kind of stuff. I think I will start with, what will I start with? Let me do some triangles. And what do I want to do them in? Not the red and white stripe for sure. I could do pink ones. What do I have for other red fabric here? Talk to me, red fabric. I have this plain red I could use. And I also have these reds that I've already used, which would probably be a little more cohesive. Although it wouldn't hurt to have this if I'm going to use that as part of the magma core magma, whatever. This one already has a bit of a triangle there, so I may use that. Plunk that down in the middle and use a zigzag around it. So many things I could do. So let me do maybe a couple of those, one on here and one on here, and then just do a little bit of stitching just to see how it looks. I've added a little bit of foo-for-ah, 2 pieces of foo-for-ah, which I just zigzag with white thread, and a little bit of nonsense with the, it's probably hard to see, it's white thread, just my railroad track stitch that I like. And there will be more foo-for-ah. I mean, I expect there'll probably be a black and white bias stripe on there at some point. Who knows? It really fights with this fabric. So I might try to avoid, or it might be a narrower stripe. You know, we just don't know what's going to happen, right? So we might drape that up in a curve somewhere. add more stuff, and just have a good old time with it. So today we have made some more pieces for Alice because she did not have enough to be her story to be fully told. So we have 3 more pieces for her. Move these over a little more so you can see them all. And there will be more to be made, I think, because I want to, well, you know, I've already got some pieces. Are these pieces going to be below what I already have or off to the side? I do not know yet. I think there will be at least one more of these at some point. These may be okay as is. There may be one on either side. And I'm almost thinking, now I was going to say I was going to have, you know, just some strip sets like stratification and geology, but I think that, would that be too calm? Oh, I might make them curved because they're melting from the core magma. We don't know where it's going. I didn't even have any idea where these were going, nor do I know where they are going on the piece yet. But, you know, I like them. I like just putting stuff together, and black and white and red and pink, of course, are all about Alice. That is it for this week. I have no idea what I'm going to do next week. Next week is going to be interesting. I'm filming this on Saturday, and they're going to be taking out my old concrete patio next week. I don't know when. It is right next to the door here where I film, so we'll see what happens. And then I will be on a retreat and for a couple of days, and I just don't know. But hopefully I will be able to stop and film at least something short. A couple of ideas I have. We'll just have to see what happens. I hope to see you next week, and in the meantime, be well, be safe, be happy, be quilting. Peace out.